And good morning at 7:04 on this Tuesday, February 7th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome here on a Tuesday morning. It's a little bit cloudy and overcast, but we've got a terrific Tuesday going for us, and we welcome you to our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope is here. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you as always. And we have a couple of people this morning that I'll let you introduce if you would like, and we'll get our discussion going, unless there's something you want to tell us before we start.
No, I think we have a great program this morning. You know, it's still the new year, and we're excited to have Dr. Menzel and Crystal Hawkins with us. They are with the Bariatric and Metabolic Surgery Clinic here in Lebanon with Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We're here to hear all about their service line, and Dr. Menzel did a great presentation a little over a week ago at the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Committee meeting, where we were able to share some of the same things we're talking about today with that group. We had over 40 people attend, so it was a great group. We really appreciate the opportunity with the chambers to get the news out about additional services that we have here in Wilson County.
Well, I'll bet the chamber appreciates your visit as well.
Well, we appreciate them.
All right, Dr. Menzel, we've met a handful of times now, initially in 2020 when you started the Vanderbilt Weight Loss Center here in Lebanon. So if you will, update us on that program.
Well, good morning, Coleman. Thanks for having us back.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, great to see you. Really appreciate it. Well, we've had tremendous growth since then. So just to update everybody, in 2020, came out from downtown at Vanderbilt to start the Weight Loss Center here. At the time, it was just me, the nurse practitioner to my left right here, who you'll meet in a minute. My nurse
well,
and my MA.
let's go ahead and let her say hello now. Crystal
Yeah,
Hawkins,
let's do it.
Specialized bariatric nurse practitioner and weight loss provider.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to our program. It is good to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be
we
here.
will have some questions for you later on.
Ready for 'em.
Okay. Back to you.
Yeah, so we started in 2020, and since then, our growth has been fantastic. We've had great reception from the community. Tracy over there and everybody's just been taking us in pretty good, because what we offer here, health, wellness, nutrition, and then obviously metabolic and bariatric surgery, really do transform health. And that's something that we've really strived to maximize here in Lebanon and the surrounding area. And we've done that. So at that time, like I said, we only had those few providers in my clinic, and now we've pretty much doubled our staff. We have 2 nurse practitioners, 2 specialized dietitians who work with nutrition and all the aspects post-operatively to make sure all the health and nutrition goes well. And in addition to the medical weight loss side, which we'll talk about in a little while as well.
And I would just like to say that, that is part of the benefit of having Vanderbilt in the community. Dr. Menzel's just touching on the surface, but it's a comprehensive center, and that's not anything that we've had before. It touches all the aspects to weight loss, and I can't wait for him to share more information.
Well, remind us and those listening at home, what is bariatric surgery? What procedures do you perform?
Yes, so bariatric surgery is also known as weight loss surgery or metabolic surgery. It's laparoscopic surgery, so it's small incisions that we alter a little bit of the inside, so the stomach or the small intestine, in order to produce sustainable weight loss and change your metabolism. And what I mean by that is the biggest part of this is making you healthier in the future and having you be able to use fitness and nutrition to get long-term weight loss. And so
you mentioned small intestine. I don't ever remember hearing that before. I always heard it pertaining to the stomach.
No, so exactly. So that when we came out here, so obviously stomach surgery and shrinking the volume of the stomach and changing around some of that has been done before, probably intermittently here in Wilson County, but that's one of the procedures that works. But when you talk about what we want to cure, from high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, all those things, the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, which is a very safe procedure that I do plenty of here, is one of those operations that does involve your stomach and small intestine.
All right, now for our listeners, how do they know if they qualify?
Yes, so it's all based on BMI, which is your body mass index. Easily something you could Google at home, put in your height and weight, and you'll get a number. If that number is 35 or higher, and you have any related comorbidity, we call them. So high blood pressure, sleep apnea, diabetes, prediabetes, high cholesterol, degenerative joint disease, any of these, you'll usually qualify for surgery. Or, on that matter, BMI 40 or higher without any of those conditions. So say you're even 22 years old and you have a BMI of 40 and you can't get the weight off in other ways, then you would qualify.
So what are the qualifications for patients to be eligible for bariatric surgery?
Yep. So in addition to weight, we did talk about some of the health conditions. So those qualifications are related. And that really depends on insurance to some extent. But yeah, I'll tell you, the one thing, like a lot of people ask me when just walking down the street or at the chamber, et cetera, why is this going to work and diet and exercise won't work in some people? And I think that's one of the things I talk about a lot. But diet and exercise work to get weight off. However, the problem is that your metabolism is not exactly affected by diet and exercise as much as it can be after surgery. And so this is kind of based on a lot of medical data and medical literature, but we know that the surgeries we do these days change that metabolism to allow you to lose weight and maintain a healthy weight.
And I really liked how at the chamber you talked about a 2-story house. If you would elaborate
sure.
on that again.
Sure, exactly. So if you think about, say, a 3-story house is where you're sitting, say you're at a certain weight and you want to get down to a 2-story house. So you want to lose 50 pounds or whatever it is. When you go from a 3-story house to a 2-story house, the required energy to heat that house is going to be less. Okay, so think the heating bill for a 3-story house is going to be more than a 2-story house. So in terms of metabolism, when you decrease to a 2-story house, you should have a lowering of your metabolism and basal metabolic rate. However, the one condition that happens is that when your body loses weight, it tries to hold on to as much fat tissue and energy, which is what fat is, as possible. So the take-home point is that as you lose weight, your body's metabolism will go further lower than it should, and that prevents you from continuing to lose weight at that rate. So that's why these surgeries, what we do is we essentially reset that entire metabolism so you're able to lose weight at will.
The more you tell us, the more complicated this all sounds to me.
Yes,
but for some people, losing weight is just it's really an uphill battle, isn't it?
And that's what we're talking about here. I mean, almost everybody can lose 10, 15, 20 pounds with diet and exercise. The problem is when you get to that point that you lose that weight and you hit a plateau and then you start to gain weight with the proper dieting and exercise, then you know that there's more to it than that. And that's honestly what our center and why we have the dietitians involved, why we do surgery, why we give medications, because all those things are able to transform that metabolism to make you be at a better weight.
All right, these surgeries do improve the health problems, but how? Sleep apnea, diabetes, high blood pressure, preventing heart and kidney problems?
Yep, exactly. So each one of these that you just named have significant resolution rates, so over 70, 80, 90% after gastric bypass or gastric sleeve surgery. So essentially by losing the weight, they're all weight-related comorbidities or problems, but by losing the weight, you'll cure these at a very high rate. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons I love what I do is I love seeing people coming in a few months after surgery down 3, 4 pant sizes, down 40, 50, 80 pounds. But the reality is curing somebody from diabetes, getting their cholesterol under control, making them come off of antihypertensive medication, losing the CPAP machine that they wear at night. Those are huge life-changing events that not only does it change their quality of life, but it really prolongs and prevents problems from heart disease and everything that they cause.
Well, I'm just wondering what kind of percentage could we give your success rate? And I know from previous conversations that how people adapt to instruction afterwards has a lot to do with it too, especially keeping it off.
Yes, well, absolutely. So I think two points there. One is our outcomes since we've been here through Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital have been in the top couple percent in the country. So our outcomes from safety and effectiveness are excellent. So you're in the right spot, you're getting the right care. I think past that, you bring up a good point about diet, exercise afterward. And that's why we talk about with a lot of people in the community, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, getting into fitness right after surgery, coming back to see us to make sure we keep you on point with your diet and all those decisions. So that is a big part of it too.
Well, I'm wondering one other thing. How reluctant are people? A lot of people, and I would have to include myself here, so many times you put off something as long as you dare, almost.
Yes.
You dread it. You don't want to go through it. Is there any way to avoid it? You no doubt deal with people like that who have finally come to you, and hopefully you've been able to help them. They didn't wait too late.
Right. No, exactly. And so, that brings up two good points too. One is, now's the time. Your health, if we take care of it now, wherever your health is, whether it's in the beginning where you don't have any related conditions, or if you have conditions that have grown to a point where they need more specific intervention, either way we can help you. We just try to emphasize the fact that we're here to do the surgery to make it better for you, to cure your diabetes, whether it's down the road or before it's here. So trying to convince people to come in, it's more of just saying, listen, the incisions are small, the recovery is quick. Believe it or not, you're going to take a little nap on the operating room table and wake up, you're going to feel pretty good. And then down the road, people just do really well. And all our numbers are supporting that.
Okay, it's time for us to take a break. Dr. Christopher Menzel, bariatric surgeon, along with Crystal Hawkins and Tracy Pope are here this morning. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, high performance, high horsepower, 0% financing is still a thing. Now is the best time to save on new Kubota L-Series tractors rated #1 for durability and owner experience in the U.S. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still running very slow up here east and westbound on 24 around the Sullivan Evans Bridge due to two different wrecks. It's getting some attention over here again. It is a mess on 24 east and westbound at Shelby because of these accidents. It's really slow now on 40 westbound at Spence Lane, just trying to get past the airport. It's just crawling on 65 northbound, north of Nashville, up there in Robertson County, or just near the Portland exit due to an accident. Again, that's 65 northbound. We're looking at it live. It's got traffic pretty slow as you head up towards Kentucky. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken is catering during the big game. You can give them a call at Princess Hot Chicken at 478-1171. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
And we continue here on a Tuesday morning. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope, Director of Community Relations, is here as usual, along with this morning Dr. Christopher Menzel, bariatric surgeon, and Crystal Hawkins. We're going to get to Crystal in just a moment, but one other thing, I don't think we've talked all about this, Dr. Menzel. What other services do you offer at your clinic besides surgery consultations?
Yes, exactly. So I'll see people for surgery consultations or just to talk about health, wellness, and weight loss options. So some people will come in, make an appointment with me and say, hey, is surgery right for me? I'll tell you, of the people I see every week, 75-80% of them usually lean towards surgery, and we go through to surgery. The others, though, we end up putting into medical weight loss. And so Crystal will touch on that a little bit, but medical weight loss, we use medications, intensive dieting, which obviously this therapy comes through our dietitians who are specialized in weight loss management. And so that really does work for some people or those who aren't quite ready for surgery. And then we just view it as a continuum. Some people will get on the medical weight loss, have success, and keep rolling with it. Some people will hit a wall there, and then we'll move to surgery.
Okay, let's talk to Crystal Hawkins. We welcome you again to our program this morning.
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself. We want to know who you are, where you grew up, where you went to school, how you got
All
to
the
be.
things. All the things. Well, my maiden name is Lassiter, so my whole family is from here, so you may know a few of them. So I was born here, but then we moved to Franklin, and I grew up in Williamson County. And then after I went to Ole Miss for a few years, I decided to come back to Lebanon and go to Cumberland University to get my bachelor's of nursing. So I am a Cumberland alumni. I'm also adjunct faculty there as well, but I'm not teaching this semester. Let's see here. I am a wife. My husband, Matthew Hawkins, we've been married since 2006. We have one little girl, Maggie Jo, who is in first grade at Carroll Oakland. I am a member of Fairview Church, and I serve on the board for the Wilson County Community Help Center, as well as Notes for Nurses, and all that keeps me pretty busy.
All right. Well, I guess you said the magic word when you said Lassiter. You remember when Raymond?
That is my uncle. Mhm.
Okay.
So Ernest, I am Ernest Lassiter's oldest grandchild.
Okay. All right. Well, Raymond set the Guinness Book of World Records
For golf.
most consecutive holes
That's
of golf
right.
played, and I don't think anybody's going to break that.
Never.
All right.
That's amazing.
Well,
legacy.
let's if you will, describe to our listeners the aspects of the clinic that you take part in, and when will patients get to meet you?
Sure. Well, I am Dr. Menzel's nurse practitioner. I primarily see his surgery patients. Some patients, when they see him for surgery and they go through the consult, discover that with their insurance, they need to have some pre-op weight loss appointments. And when that happens, they come and see me for a few visits. We discuss where they're at in the program. We talk a bit about nutrition, about exercise, and then we start to set some goals that only help them start getting to the habits of what needs to change for surgery, but it also helps them for a mental aspect to start mentally preparing for the changes as well. And then after that, I round with him in the hospital. So I get to see every patient the morning after their surgery for that continuity of care. So they continue to see me after surgery. And then goodness, the first year post-op, I see them every 3 months. And then after their first year, I see them every 6 months till death do us part. They're my patient for life.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I don't know how you found time to teach at Cumberland.
Well, I've taken a few semesters off, so yeah.
Well, you seem to really be into this, and I take it that you have a presence here. People listen to you and hopefully follow the instructions, the help that you provide for them.
Well, I hope so. I try to be their biggest cheerleader throughout this whole process, but our whole clinic does that. Everyone in our clinic supports our patients and does just a great job of encouraging them, talking to them when they're having struggles or, not sure what they want to do.
Well, is there one or two particular things that you would tell nearly everybody when it comes to what they're supposed to do following surgery and taking care of themselves, or even if they don't have surgery, but in what you're helping them to have a healthier lifestyle?
Sure. I always like to tell patients when they come and establish care with us, welcome, we're so happy to have you. It takes a lot of courage to come to our clinic for a lot of patients. It's not an easy thing to talk about when it comes to weight loss and the different aspects of that. And so, I think just being welcoming and accepting and knowing that everyone, no matter where they're at in their journey, we've all struggled with issues with weight or trying to get in shape or being healthier and trying to get rid of certain disease processes.
And I can hop in and just tell you that she's being quite modest. Our patients absolutely adore her. She's won awards for these things, so she's just being super modest. But
Well, why is being part of a cohesive, comprehensive center so important to weight loss, to health and wellness in our community?
Well, it's, being healthy is mind, body, and spirit at the end of the day. And, we want to touch on all those aspects, whether it's, the nutrition component, the mental component, and having them talk to someone just about how they feel about changing habits and being healthy and having issues. And, we're working on getting exercise in as well as, to promote just a healthier lifestyle.
Well, I view what you're doing sort of as an instructor or something, but sometimes people can be a little resistant. I think us old timers call it hard-headed, maybe. But do you everybody's not just alike. You got to kind of win yourself over to your point of view, get them to see your point of view. And with some, you probably do it one way, with others maybe a little bit different. Talk about that a little bit, if you will.
Well, some people prefer I understand. Yes, some people prefer what I call the marshmallow and rainbows approach, where we talk about feelings and everything's wonderful and great. And some people want me to come in there and just be a wrecking ball and be upfront and flat and just tell them exactly what I think. And so I think,
Can you do both?
I can do both.
Will
At least my husband says I can.
Well, and I think everyone in clinic knows you can too. So.
But you seem to enjoy what you're doing, and no doubt there are you have helped people, so that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
A good feeling.
Yes, we have a very good. They're all listening this morning. Shout out to the.
And like
Randy
Crystal
Wilson County
said,
Clinic.
you know, their first step is just making the appointment and showing up. So it's not like Crystal or Dr. Menzel's forcing people to come to their clinic. I think when people do make that decision and decide, you know, it sounds like Crystal and Dr. Menzel can really fill out each person and individualize the way that their approach and, you know, their plan.
Okay, some take-home points that you would emphasize to people having problems with their weight or seeking other options to prevent weight problems from developing. So both of you can comment here.
I'll let you go.
So I think the biggest thing is really making an appointment or talking to somebody when you have a weight problem, because whether it's you or somebody you know or family friend, whatever it is, just burying it in the sand or something like that's not going to work, because like you said earlier, some people want to make medical problems go on, not think about it until it's a real problem. But the beauty of this is that you have a team who's going to take care of you from starting the weight loss with nutrition to medical to surgical therapies, and just getting in the door and talking about it and learning about why it works and how safe these things are and what changes happen that you don't even have to control. I think that's the biggest piece.
Okay, now you add to that, Crystal. Ken?
I mean, I echo what he says. I mean, you know, it is elective, and so most patients who come into our clinic, you know, they want to be there. And I think the first step is just showing up. We're happy to have a conversation, whether it's surgical or medical.
I have an idea people like to talk to someone else who has been there and done that. You recommend that necessarily?
Sure. I mean, I'll tell you, like at the chamber, I've talked to dozens of physicians and specialists around the area in Wilson County to get the word out. And I think talking to anybody who's had the surgery is a great first step. Anybody who's recommended people, because a lot of practitioners around here have now seen our success and are going to say, oh yeah, you're going to do just like A, B, and C in the back of my mind. So I would say it's a great idea to talk about it.
Well, and that's where, you know, being a comprehensive center takes a big role. You know, we have support groups twice a month here at the hospital, and a lot of our pre-op patients go to those appointments, but we also have several post-op patients who are 6 months, a year out, and they're there and they're telling about their experiences and they're talking about their fears and they're encouraging and just.
So really somebody can attend one of these and not even have to hunt down someone who has experience.
They absolutely could, especially if they knew somebody who had surgery. They can come as a little like a buddy system kind of thing.
And a little bit of what we talked about at the chamber is, you know, if you are an employer and you're listening today, I think that, you know, we have revolutionized health and wellness, especially for our employees, and trying to make sure that we have the safest, healthiest environment possible so employees can do the best work that they can. You know, Dr. Menzel and his team would love to come out and specifically talk to businesses. We have other options, as in bundles programs. You know, Vanderbilt just offers so much on top of the specialized services that we have. So we have all sorts of opportunity, and if anyone is interested, they can always contact Hugh here at the station, Coleman, and I know you know how to get a hold of me, and we would love to, you know, visit specifically with more businesses. I think that's what we wanted the take home to be, you know, a few weeks ago at the chamber, is if you heard something that really struck a chord and you're interested in possibly helping your employees, let us know and let us come speak to you, your team, anyone that might be interested.
Okay, one last thing we might discuss slightly here. Anyone that's interested in either the surgical or the medical weight loss consultation, what is the first step for them to take?
Yeah, so to make an appointment, either online, you can search my name, Christopher Menzel, or we can search Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital through there, bariatric surgery. We'll go to our clinic, Vanderbilt Weight Loss Center. So if you're tech savvy and you want to go online, that's an easy way to find it. We also have our clinic is at 1616 West Main Street, Suite 300, the third floor there. And so you can call our office, you can Google that, or talk to your PCP. They can refer through our system and get us there.
So just contact you.
Yep.
However
you can find it.
Okay, we're in our last minute here, and Tracy, we usually let you have the last word. An interesting program today, 2 interesting people to talk to, and we thank them for coming out and sharing their time with us.
Thanks for having us, Coleman.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that we just want to reiterate, if you heard something today that you're very interested in, we would love to come out and speak to you and your team, your business. If you're just an individual, call and make an appointment. Crystal and Dr. Menzel and their team, they are ready and available, and it's just a life-changing experience, and it's available for anyone that just chooses it.
Okay, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for listening, but don't go away. This is only part 1 of Coleman and Company. We've got more coming up here on FM 98.9.
And to 729, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, that regular oil change, $34.95, up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're still trying to finish up a wreck out in Rutherford County. It's 24 westbound, just before Emmaville Road. Now, it's heavy on 24 as you leave Rutherford County up through the Hickory Hollow area towards Nashville. Here's where it's crazy slow, and that's up in Robertson County on 65 northbound near the Portland area. They're still trying to clean up that crash. It has traffic really slow if you're headed towards Kentucky on 65 going northbound. We're also in the clearing stages of a wreck on 24 at the Sullivan Evans Bridge. That still has traffic running extremely slow. 24 east over here at Shelby. Hey, whether you're an Eagles fan or a Chiefs fan or a house divided, Princess Hot Chicken has platters to make the big game sizzle. Give them a call today at Princess Hot Chicken, 478-1171, online at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
At Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, world-class care is a heartbeat away. In fact, we offer the same world-class attention Middle Tennessee has come to rely on from a Vanderbilt Health Hospital. Supported by over 200 specialties, an expanded emergency department staffed with Vanderbilt Health physicians 24/7, and greater investments in life-saving technologies and care. It's just one more way we're making healthcare personal.
Hey Cumberland baseball fans, this is senior outfielder Cole Turney from Richmond, Texas. We have a 3-game series this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at home at 1 o'clock versus Indiana Wesleyan University. We'd love to see you out there at the 6. But if you can't make it to the ballpark, you can listen on WANT 98.9, WCOR 1490, WANTFM.com, or GoCumberlandAthletics.com. We'll meet you there. Go Birds.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They do upfront loans of $250 to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes.
Today looking warm and dry for us, but wet weather will be here on Wednesday. We are climbing through the 50s this morning, heading for a nice warm-up and a high of 65 this afternoon. Clouds will be building this evening, with rain chances arriving late tonight and increasing on Wednesday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number 1 Ned.
Coleman and Company, Part 2 for a Tuesday morning. Sean Dozier's here. We're ready to talk about Heartside Senior Living. Sean, how are you?
Well, I'm doing well, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you looking forward to the Super Bowl?
I really am looking forward to the
Do
Super
you
Bowl.
have a lot of people at your place who are still sports fans?
You know, we have what we call a men's table.
Oh,
and
you never have talked about
Yeah,
that.
we have a men's table. They eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. And if I'd mentioned some names, everybody would probably know who they were. But they sit around and talk shop and talk about football and talk about all the ladies in the facility, and you know they.
Well, I hope they talk a little baseball.
They talk a little baseball. You know, they talk a lot about different things, and it's, you know, when people come in, we try to set people together that kind of have common interest, and we put the men together, and they really like that. And particularly, you know, the men, they don't socialize as much as the women do, so when they eat together, that's their time to talk and catch up. And actually, we got two men's table now. Usually we have one, but we've added several men lately to our residents at Hearthside, and they sit around and talk, and you know, they really enjoy that. I tell you what, that's socialization is a big part of assisted living.
Yeah.
From, you know, a lot of them, they've been living alone for many years, or they just haven't got out as much, and so when they get in that setting and they're able to talk with somebody else 3 times a day, it really does make a difference. And they do talk football a lot, Coleman.
And a lot of it probably is what happened 50 and 60 years ago.
Yes, and that's
names that you don't even
That's
remember.
right. And that's what I love, to sit around, and sometimes I'll go in there and just walk around and listen to them. And I love the stories that they tell, and I don't even know what they're talking about, but just to know that they are remembering things and talking about things, it really does help them, and makes life worth living when you're able to tell stories.
All right, Hearthside Senior Living Retirement Assisted Living Community. If you've been here long, you know about it, no doubt. Sean is the executive director, and it's Hearthside when it's time for a helping hand.
And we're full, Coleman. We're full in our assisted living. We're full in our independent living, and we've got a waiting list for both places. So if you're thinking about assisted living or independent living, it's not a bad time to get on that list. We had a tour yesterday, and I said, well, right now we're full, but we'll add you to our waiting list. He said, keep me on the waiting list and let me know when you have a room available. That was for a small room. I talked to another gentleman yesterday who has parents still living, and he said, put me on the list for a large room. So people are getting on that waiting list, and things are back to normal as far as being full. But we assisted living, we're able to get people in pretty quickly, but our independent living waiting list is, as I've mentioned here many times, it's rather long.
Yeah, you may have to wait.
We may have to wait a little while. I tell people to have a plan B, plan C, plan D, because you may be a while. But things are good. Things are busy at Hearthside. I joke that this is a great job. It is a great job. But when you're full, there are a lot of things to take care of, and we're taking care of that. We're taking care of their needs.
I asked you when you walked in, have you found someone to be the activities director to take the place that Betty Kelly
Yes,
had?
I'm excited to announce Alicia Burchett is going to be our activities director. Alicia's been an RA for several years at Hearthside. She's been on first shift, and she knows the residents. She knows, I tell you what, she knows their needs, their wants, their dislikes, and she's going to be a great fit in that position. She's already done a great job. She's got more people involved. She's got more activities planned coming up this month. So I think she's going to really fit in and really do a great job. I'll bring her out sometime and let everybody meet her on air. But if you've been in Hearthside at all during the day, you've seen Alicia, and she's just a great asset to our culture there at Hearthside.
I think you said another word that's important there: dislikes.
Dislikes. Well, we have a lot of people that dislike things, so we know those dislikes, and we make sure we stay far away from them. In fact, yesterday, one of the residents came to me, and she did not like how her bathroom was cleaned, which is important. You want to make sure that your bathroom is cleaned correctly. So we made an adjustment there and made her very, very happy. So a lot of times,
little things
make a difference.
Yeah.
And particularly what they like or dislike in their coffee. That's the biggest thing. That gets their day off to a good start or a bad start. So when we have a switch in employees, which we don't have very often, but if we have a new RA or a new nurse come in, it really doesn't matter how they get their coffee. And of course, when they take their medication, what kind of medications they get, they know, if a nurse, is giving the wrong medication, which doesn't happen, but it could happen. But, there's a lot of things that they dislike, and they know what's going on, and they make sure they tell you.
But that's a little personal touch that you might not get everywhere.
That's right. But let me tell you, our employees, they've been there quite a long time. And I think about Brenda, I think about Cindy, I think about Janet, I think about Alicia. You know, they know these residents so well because they spend more time with them than they do their own families. They know their likes, dislikes. They know everything about them.
All right, are you ready for a Hearthside Hello?
Yes, I do. And Galen Wilson sent me these three names from Wilson Rides. These three riders are Mary Mayo, Janet Kerwood of Mount Juliet, and Miss Alice Harris of Lebanon. Mary Mayo is from Watertown, Janet Kerwood is from Mount Juliet, and Miss Alice Harris is from Lebanon. They're all Wilson riders, and every so often I like to mention some of our great riders in that program. It's going so well. Galen Wilson, I think, just got the award for Wilson County of the Year for the Mount Juliet Chamber, and I know she's going to be at the Lebanon Chamber event, so she's doing a great job with that program, and I wanted to mention those three riders this morning as my Hearthside hello.
All right. Always good to see you.
Good to see you, Coleman. I always just enjoy seeing you every week.
Enjoy having you and find out all the latest from Hearthside. And
Well, it's going well. Just stop by and see us anytime or call us at 615-443-1994. You can email me or go to the website. Real easy to find right there in the heart of Lebanon. So come by and see us anytime.
All right. And see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Great. Sean Dozier, Executive Director, Hearthside Senior Living. We're about 20 minutes before the hour. And Jeff Luttrell is my guest this morning. Jeff is Director of Schools for Wilson County. It's a big job and one that's growing if you count attendance as part of growing. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And we do count attendance as part of growing, don't we?
We do. We do.
You okay?
I'm good. Good.
Well, we had a board meeting last night.
We did.
Yes. Okay. Well, we got plenty to talk about, no doubt. I guess since we had the board meeting last night, if you want to just jump into that, we could take off there this morning.
Yeah, we had regular scheduled board meeting, so month of February, and had several items to look at. Still, we're in the process of annually we go through our policies. So we had several policy readings to make some changes, and you always have to update those to match legislation and some other things. And then, so we had several policies, very little discussion. You know, our work study or work session on Thursday night before the meeting is where we get into a lot of the deep discussion, but we ran through that. Opened up the meeting with several student groups. We try to highlight some of the things that are going on in our schools, and just there was a couple of things. Doc Holliday, Jay Holliday, longtime teacher, I think he said last night 40 years at Wilson Central, and he highlighted his sports information department. You know, they do a lot of things. If you look at their productions on ball games and some of their print they do and photographs, and just a good time. I think it allowed some of our students to be showcased and see what's going on in their schools. That was a very good presentation. And then Lebanon High School, we recognized the students from Lebanon High School that are in the BioSTEM program. We started that program, I guess it's been 5 or 6 years ago, and it's just a really great program. It's a high-level program. And what was highlighted last night is a team of those students started their own research project. It's on some stream life on the stream that is on the Lebanon High School campus. And just this year, they've had the opportunity to compete and present at the Tennessee Academy of Science, and they finished third place. And the amazing thing about that, they were competing against colleges and universities. So we highlighted those students and their families were there, and their instructors, and just a great example of something that you're not going to hear about a lot, but it's some of the things that's going on in their schools. So, and then we also recognized 3 students in the county, one from Will Central, one from Green Hill High, and one from Lebanon High School that have been chosen as presidential scholars. It's a high honor. I think there was 168 in the state of Tennessee, and we had 3 of them. And they'll be moving on and competing and being considered for some presidential scholars accolades and scholarships, high-end students, and even one of those students was recognized kind of double last night as already being one of our first students that has achieved everything through a state program that's Move On When Ready, going to graduate early. Highlighted some of our top students, and those are three of them. We have plenty more, but that was always fun. And then also introduced a math contest on Pi Day, March 14th. We're going to do a 5th grade math contest at the ATC that night. Really excited about bringing that back. That's something we've done in the past, but we're really going to promote it. Our high school kids will be kind of overseeing it and helping with it. We're going to bring in our top 5th graders and put them in a competitive situation with math problems, let their families be there to watch. So really, probably to me, the best part of the meeting was to be able to highlight our students. And it started off with our Mount Juliet Elementary. They come presented. They're going to be presenting a play this spring. And to watch those little ones get up there and sing their songs and kind of give you a hook of what they're working toward for the spring was very good. And so just a good night as we started with recognizing our students.
What else did you get into? Anything really controversial last night?
Well, of course, you know, it's in the national news, it's in the state news, and it's in the local news. Had a lot of speakers, had 17 speakers last night. And that's important that we hear from our constituents and our stakeholders in the community. And of course, the book issue is still alive and well. And so we listened to them. We didn't have a book up for review, but that continues, and our board is working through that and trying to meet the needs of all of our students.
Any decisions made regarding that before the meeting was over?
There was not. We didn't have a book up for you, and you know, we have a state law that we're following. Last year, General Assembly put in place a law for a book review, where we can review those books as they're brought to us, and we have a committee, a standing committee, and we've been through that process, and they have. Some books they've said we feel they're okay, put them back on the shelf. Other books they've put on the mature reading list, where you have to have parent permission. There's been, I think, a couple books they've said we feel like it's age inappropriate,
just totally banned,
and pulled them out of our inventory.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a process in that law that I don't think people are. I think they're aware of it. I hope they're aware of it. That the way the law reads, that board, it goes through a review committee that I said my role in it is to set the committee, and then the board gets the opportunity to vote up or down or make their own decision. But there's another process of that law that says that anyone that's not happy with that, they can appeal that to the state textbook commission, and if it goes there, and they can make a decision to uphold or reject or take any action they see fit. But if it happens there, then it applies statewide.
Oh.
And, you know, I'm sitting here listening to all sides, but I'm not seeing anybody take that on further. It's supposed to go to the textbook commission after that. And now in the law, it says that by December 1, the LEA would have more guidance on that process. We still have not got that guidance. Now, I'm understanding they're waiting on Attorney General opinion, but I think that's a part of the law that people need to understand. If you're still upset with what your elected board members do, there's another process, and I'm big on following the law.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it should go with the next step. But a lot of passion, and you know, I've been in this business for 30 years now almost, and I remember studying years ago, and we've seen it come up in the past. This idea of obscenity law has been one of the most controversial laws in history. You know, we got a Supreme Court justice years ago that said, I really can't define it, but I know it when I see it. So and I think that's still alive and well. And so, but it is a process. But I commend these board members, and just I want to shout out and support our librarians. You know, the saddest thing that's coming out of this is our kids are not reading enough, period. We know one of the major obstacles we have, and a piece of data that's alarming is we need to get our kids on reading level. And so there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of ideas, and we've just got to continue to work through it. But I commend our board. They're working through that. On top of that, there was some discussion later that the board voted to reach out and reach out to really a constitutional lawyer, bring in, and to kind of educate them and let them have an opportunity to ask a constitutional lawyer what their thoughts are on some of these issues and First Amendment and so forth. So we'll be looking forward to that, and I think that's a wise step to learn. And to bring somebody in that specializes in that field to give them some guidance.
All right, Jeff Luttrell, our Director of Schools, is with us. More coming up. Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And to 7:50, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $49.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still slower than normal over here on 24 across the Sullivan Evans Bridge. Hopefully it'll start to move a little bit better. We've had nothing but problems over here this morning, east and westbound on Shelby. Westbound looks better. It's just eastbound. Still slow up by Ellington Parkway. They're trying to finish up the paperwork on a wreck in Rutherford County. It's 24 westbound near Elmaville Road. Still has traffic extra slow, crazy slow up there in Robertson County north of Nashville as they work an accident involving a truck on 65 northbound near the Portland area. Just before you get into Kentucky, I can still see traffic just a mess. Hey, whether you're an Eagles fan or a Chiefs fan or a house divided, Prince's Hot Chicken has platters to make the big game sizzle. Check them out online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. And again, Jeff Luttrell, our Director of Schools for Wilson County, is with us this morning. Anything else about last night's meeting?
Yeah, I do want to mention, I brought a resolution, a budget amendment to the board. It did pass. We are ready to begin the planning phase of a school on Double Log Cabin Road on the property we bought, and looking at how the best finance, working with Mayor Hutto and in some meetings with him. I brought to the board to go ahead and pull out of our fund balance $2.2 million. That is an estimate, but what that does is we're under a contract with our architect, and the cost is 5% of the bid to plan it and to get it through the building phase to make sure that plan is followed. And so we felt like, or I feel like, that we have the money in-house, in our funds, in our fund balance. We have to keep a 3% fund balance, and we're over that. And so I brought a budget amendment that would allow us to go ahead and pull that and put it in our capital line item to go ahead and start that process. Excuse me. So we can get that plan to the board, get a design they can approve, and then, of course, once we get that, we'd go to the county commission.
Okay, now what are we talking about? An elementary school?
It would be an elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just in looking at as we crunch the numbers, I really don't think we've got the money sitting there that we can use. I do not want that to be a part of a bond, and we've got it. Let's go ahead and pay up front for that. And then so all we would be asking would be funding for the actual building. And that which still leaves our fund balance in really good shape. It's not detrimental to our budget. So they approved that 7-0. So we'll start that process. This morning will be one of my first phone calls to let her. Of course, it'll have to go to the county commission for approval of that, but I'll go ahead and put our architect on notice that we're moving in that direction. Another thing that came up last night was approval to add a benefit to our insurance package for employees or employee insurance that would cover some fertility benefits. And we've had, since I've been the director, that's came up numerous times in numerous settings from several teachers that, hey, we'd like to have that benefit. I've learned a lot about that, didn't realize, I've been fortunate, have 2 kids and have that blessing. And for a lot of families, this is a really expensive process. So we've been working on that a couple months. It got tabled last month, but that passed, and our board members passed that 7-0. So proud to see that we're adding benefits to our employees. That's a big thing. We want our benefit package to really look good.
One thing that I think would do, if we have it here, they're not going to be jumping ship to go somewhere else where they have if we didn't.
It is, and what we found, very few districts offer this benefit. So yeah, and we've lost some employees that did go to a district that had it.
Right.
So we want to try to do everything we can to retain our teachers. We're working on budget, already getting into that process and looking at salaries for classified and even seeing what's going to be available to continue to hit this teacher pay. I just, of course, I was at our meeting last night, but as I read a little bit, I think our governor's going to put something in his budget that continues to put money to teacher salary. And so we are working toward that. But that was some of the things that took place last night, and glad to see that pass.
You got more?
No, I think that's it. Other than that, we've covered a lot here.
Okay, let me throw something out here. And I know this concerns you. It concerns our legislators. Concerns everybody, especially if they got a child in the 3rd grade. This retention thing. Talk about that a little bit. Where you maybe what you see, where you stand, how you would recommend the legislature come up with something if it's them that's going to do it.
Well, we're watching it closely. Been watching it. If you remember, several months ago, our board passed a resolution stating that this needed to be looked at. Now, I don't know if the appetite's going to be there. There's been some bills filed that I'm watching to see as they go through the process what happens. Nothing wrong with addressing the issue, and I applaud our legislators for taking a stance that we need to get our children to grade level reading.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all agree upon that. I think the impact, though, that's got a lot of people concerned. Number one, you're determining that on one test.
Yeah.
And there's even some debate of what does that test look like? Nobody gets to see that test before or after. And I will tell you that it's a content-based test, that we're measuring the standards. So my experience tells me that that's not the best way to determine reading level. So I think there's some flaws there. They're not intended, but that's just the reality of it, of that test. What you're seeing, and I think what I agree with, and what most directors of schools are talking about, and a lot of constituents, let's put some other benchmarks in there. We do a lot of benchmark testing within the school year. There's a lot of factors that go in. Retaining a child's a huge decision. That's a big decision. And now the great thing that's came out of this is we're being funded for more tutoring. And I will tell you, I've been saying that for years. When there's a deficit, you've got to attack the deficit. You've got to find the skill the child is behind on or missing. There's a gap. And it's going to take extra time, whether that be after-school tutoring, summer program. So I'm all on board with that. I think that's a great move, and we need to make sure that's protected. But I think we've got the flip side. We've got a teacher shortage, And there's some districts that will tell you, hey, this would impact 40 to 60% of my third grade students. Now in Wilson County, it's not that; it's less than 40, and we've already started identifying. And the notices went out to the parents, but there's an impact there. If you're going to retain that many students, you're going to have to hire extra teachers. And so there's a lot of things to look at. I don't know. One day I hear there's an appetite not to change anything. And I commend our governor and our legislators for addressing a problem. But I personally think we've got to look at it and possibly add some tweaks. If we don't, like we said earlier, you got to follow the law.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're at, but we're watching that and working with legislators to see what happens.
Got a minute. What's happening in Watertown? I know the old football, the bleachers, I think, are gone. They were a hazard, maybe.
They are. They were taken down. They were crumbling and just the concrete, and it was time they'd fail, and it was really a hazard. So we'll be looking at, that school is on our 5-year plan, and I was looking at that last week. We've got to make some decisions on, do we renovate the building currently, or do you possibly look at